What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video, and today's topic is Jarrod Bowen, the West Ham winger, because James Pearce and David Lynch, two journalists with close ties to Liverpool FC, are reporting that Jarrod Bowen is of interest on Liverpool. He is on the transfer shortlist. This is what James Pearce said. He is on Liverpool's shortlist for a potential attacking target. Jurgen Klopp is a big fan of Jarrod Bowen. Whether they reinforce the squad in that area depends on whether they sell Xherdan Shaqiri or Divock Origi. Let me know in the comments below. Are you a big fan of Jarrod Bowen? Do you think he's a good player? Do you want him to sign for Liverpool? I only want him to be signed if it costs a maximum £30 million, maybe 35 with add-ons, but for 25-30 million, I think that's his true market value. Jarrod Bowen is a really decent player. He's 24 years old. He scored 8 goals in 40 games last season, and he played all 38 of the Premier League games, and I think he would be a good backup for Salah, Mane and Firmino. And of course, if you enjoy these transfer news updates, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notification so you never miss the latest Liverpool transfer news updates. And also the Liverpool career mode continues tomorrow. I had a lot of stuff going on in the past few weeks. We attended 2 weddings. I had to organize a lot of stuff and I had to take my car to the inspection, so I had a lot of stuff going on, but now my schedule has cleared up a little bit, so I will try to upload every other day in the Liverpool Career Mode series. So if you are excited about that, let me know. And James Pearce says this about Jarrod Bowen: he fits the profile for Liverpool in terms of his age, playing style and versatility. He is viewed as someone with massive potential who would initially provide high caliber backup and increase competition for places. Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp rates him very highly, and Liverpool will continue monitoring his development even if we decide not to sign him this summer. He not only scored 8 goals, but he also contributed with 5 assists last season, which is a pretty decent return. And in this video we will take a look at what he needs to do to come in at Liverpool. But I think the main part is that we need to sell Origi and Shaqiri. We need to move on the backup players. There is interest from Lazio and other clubs in Shaqiri. No interest so far in Origi. Origi scored a goal in pre-season against Wacker Innsbruck. I think it was yesterday. It was a pretty decent game for Liverpool in both games. Mane scored in the other game, but it was more of a training exercise and not a serious game. And it is pretty telling, according to David Lynch, another journalist with close ties to Liverpool, that when Liverpool was linked with Jarrod Bowen, the club didn't deny the rumor that they are interested in Jarrod Bowen. So he's definitely on Jurgen Klopp's shortlist, and Jurgen Klopp is a big fan and he wants to reinforce the squad. I think Liverpool are in the process of selling 5 or 6 players. We already moved on Marco Grujic to Porto, Taiwo Awoniyi to Union Berlin, Harry Wilson is in talks with Fulham and other clubs, and I think Liverpool are not like pushing Origi and Shaqiri out of the door, but they are open to offers, and if a decent offer comes in for either of them or even both of them, then Liverpool will accept it, and we can generate funds that way. But as I said, Jarrod Bowen, who has like 1 full season in the Premier League, in the previous year he played only 13 games, I don't think he's worth 40 million. That is the price that I've seen quoted at some point. He's a very exciting player, don't get me wrong. He's robust, he's agile, he can go past people, he's pretty fast. He's good at tracking back as well. Defensively, he's a hard worker, and attacking wise as well. But I think the maximum is 30 million that we should pay for him. But there is the Premier League tax. I mean, Ben White went to Arsenal for 50 million pounds. That says it all. What you need to know about the Premier League's transfer market. And they have received encouragement, Liverpool, on the front from the players agency, who also have Trent Alexander-Arnold and Henry Robertson representing. So there is an acknowledgement from Liverpool that there is no vacancy on the fringe of the squad because we haven't sold Origi and Shaqiri. But if we are to sell one of them or either of them, then Jarrod Bowen could be be our transfer target. I would like to get another player, somebody like Donya Malen or even Ismail Assar would excite me a little bit more. But I fully trust the scouts at Liverpool. Since Jurgen Klopp came in, we signed so many players that at first I had question marks over them. Andy Robertson, when we signed him from Hull City, I was like, is he good enough for Liverpool? He just got relegated for Hull City. But what do I know? Andy Robertson turned into one of the best left backs in the world, and he instantly impressed me when he played with his energy, with his great crossing. And also, it was a pretty similar story with Shaqiri, who got relegated with Stoke, with Wijnaldum, who got relegated with Newcastle, and look how great those players turned out to be. And yes, 8 goals for Jared Bowen doesn't seem like much, but when you consider that he scored a whopping 53 goals for Hull City in just 3 seasons in the Championship. He scored 15 goals, 22 goals, and then 17 goals. Those were the 3 seasons in the Championship for Hull City before West Ham signed him from Hull. Those are really, really awesome numbers. I know the Championship is of a lower quality, but I mean, some of the great Premier League players who came from the Championship didn't score this amount of goals. And Jared Bowen's playing style has been compared a little bit to Iron Robben. Of course, he's not as good, of course, but his footballing talent is there, and he will only improve being just 24 years old. And sports journalist Daniel Emery said he's a budget Iron Robben in the way that he plays. Championship defenders know exactly what he's going to do, but that simply cannot stop. They simply cannot stop it. He gets the ball on the channel on the right, looks to cut inside onto his left foot and find the far corner. Despite it being his trademark move, defenders still struggle to prevent him from getting his shot off. And yes, he scored quite a few goals in the Premier League as well. So let's talk about his expected goals. At West Ham, his expected goals per 90 minutes is 0.25, and he needs to double it if he wants to be in and among the best strikers or the best attackers at Liverpool, because Diogo Jota's expected goals went from 0.4 at Wolves to 0.57 at Liverpool. So that's like almost a 50% increase. Salah went from 0.4 to 0.65. That is incredible, by the way, that Salah scores like every 10 games 6.5 goals on average. Expected goals. Mane went from 0.4 to almost 0.5 at Liverpool. So Jared Bowen needs to significantly improve, almost double his expected goals tally. It's possible, but highly unlikely. But what is also concerning is if Liverpool paid 34 or 35 or 40 million for Jared Bowen, he will be our 5th choice attacker. Do Liverpool really want to pay that amount for a player who in the next 1 or 2 years or maybe even more would sit on the bench sometimes? And yeah, that's the problem. West Ham need to lower their asking price, but Jared Bowen is one of their most important attackers, so why would they sell Jared Bowen on the cheap? We rarely see Liverpool make such moves, but sometimes you have no other choice. Certain requirements need to be met with regards to homegrown players, and he's an upgrade on what is already there, given we are used to Liverpool being so frugal in the market. Fans expect big money signings to have an immediate impact. Expectations would have to differ with Bowen, and yes, that's the main point, that Jared Bowen would count as a homegrown player. Shaqiri and Origi counts as a foreign player, and Liverpool have a limited amount of foreign players allowed in the squad, and I think that we are already almost at maximum. That's why we are selling some players, and that's why we are open to offers to Origi and Shaqiri, because you can't sign too many great foreign players because you won't be able to register them in the Premier League squad. So that's where things stand in terms of Jared Bowen. Let me know, what do you think about him? Do you think he would be a good fit at Liverpool? Some of the Liverpool fans said that it makes sense because he's the same age as Jota, he has good output, he has already very good work ethic, which would thrive under Jurgen Klopp, and more importantly, he would be happy with the backup role. If you sign Donya Malen, he would want to start regularly, and that's why probably Donya Malen's agent is in talks with Borussia Dortmund. The price is the stumbling block. If Liverpool can somehow get West Ham to lower their asking price, then I think this would be a really good transfer for the long term. I really love some of the funny tweets tweets from Liverpool fans. One Liverpool fan said on Twitter, "We went from Mbappe to Sancho to Rafinha to Malen and now to Bowen. The way our standard is getting lower day by day, we might end up with signing Willian from Arsenal." I just absolutely love the sense of humor from Liverpool fans and from Scousers. Is just absolutely brilliant, and I love reading these comments. And I mean, I'm a Liverpool fan, so whoever Liverpool sign, I will back that player, I will support them, and I'm just really excited for the new season to start, because I think Liverpool will be title contenders and contenders for the Champions League. Whoever we sign, I think Liverpool's squad right now is good enough to challenge for another Premier League title, and I just have to be excited before the new season. Trevor Sinclair said on TalkSport that he isn't surprised that Bowen has been linked with Liverpool. And Sinclair said, "I can really like Bowen as a player. He's athletic, he has great end product. You look at Bowen and he's really well put together athlete. He makes good decisions and he's only going to get better." So Liverpool's interest doesn't surprise me. So what do you make of this? Do you think Bowen is worth it? Do you think Liverpool should sign him or not? And there is also finally a positive update that it looks like Mo Salah is in talks with Liverpool on a new contract. Jordan Henderson is also in talks, just like Alisson, Fabinho, Van Dijk. And basically this is the core of Liverpool right now. The captain Henderson, Salah our best striker, Alisson our best goalkeeper, Van Dijk our best centre-back, and Fabinho our best defensive midfielder. So I really hope that Liverpool get these contracts done, because it's absolutely vital for Liverpool's future. And Bayer Leverkusen has registered an interest in Nat Phillips. No bid has been received by Liverpool yet, but an interest was registered with Nat Phillips' agent. Brighton, Burnley, Newcastle and West Ham are also monitoring the situation. They are also interested in Nat Phillips' services, and I think he needs to go if he wants to play regular football. He will be 5th choice centre-back at Liverpool after Van Dijk, Gomez, Matip and Konate. And Nat Phillips I think is too good to be 5th choice, and he's too good to sit on the bench at Liverpool. Of course it would benefit Liverpool if we could call on Nat Phillips. I think the experience that he had last season really made him an improved and better player, but he wants to play regular football. He's 25 years old, so he would be too foolish to sit on the bench at Liverpool. And I mean, he almost joined Swansea City on a permanent transfer last summer, but in the end that move fell through because of Swansea's money issues, and I follow them as well, so I know pretty much that they have to spend very wisely. They don't have great finances, but Nat Phillips, I think at Leverkusen, where he would play regularly, that would be a really ideal transfer for him. He played for Stuttgart in the 2nd Bundesliga, so he already knows the German football culture. And Jurgen Klopp reacted to the Liverpool's performance in the 2 pre-season mini-games that we played. He said physically it was all that we wanted to see, we had to do it, and it was an important test for that. First game was obviously a very young team. Innsbruck did well, and they were obviously in a better moment than we are, because they start next week with the Austrian League, and we started last week with pre-season, so the physical nature of the players are different. The second game was a tough test. Stuttgart are a really good team. We started really well, and then we conceded the goal, and then we came more and more into the game again and scored a really nice goal through Sadio Mane. I'm really happy about it, so it's all good. I saw what I expected to see. Actually, it would be strange if I was standing here and saying, my god, I didn't know we can play this kind of football, but I am now fine with it, and now we keep working, and we play Mainz in another pre-season friendly tomorrow. And also it looks like Liverpool could host at Anfield Athletic Bilbao and Osasuna, 2 Spanish sides from La Liga. That's according to the journalist Paul Gorst, who is working with the Liverpool Echo, and he said both fixtures will be played at Anfield. I don't think it's confirmed just yet, but they are expected to be played on consecutive days, and it could take place on the weekend of August 9 before Liverpool travel to play Norwich City in the Premier League opener. And Jurgen Klopp is very excited about Harvey Elliott, and he really hopes that he makes the next step at Liverpool in the Liverpool first team. He said Harvey made a step I have to say, at Blackburn on loan, he looks in a proper shape, really fit. He came back in a good shape and he's here now in full training, obviously. You can see last year really worked well for him at Blackburn. Now let's take the next steps together. And I think working under Jurgen Klopp, him training with Jurgen Klopp and watching the best players at Liverpool and also listening to Jurgen Klopp's instructions will do the world of good for Harvey Elliott. He would really benefit, I think, from this experience. And he also is twice the player probably than before the Blackburn loan, because at Blackburn he played a really good season. He was one of the best players of the championship and he's only a teenager. He's only 17 years old, so I think he will make a really good season at Liverpool. I just hope that he avoids injuries and he can play regularly. And that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Goodbye.